The year is 2018. You open up the SoundCloud app on your iPhone X, which no longer has a home button, and see this new artist named Juice WRLD. You press play and give it a listen. You and your friends hop on some OG Fortnite as the game's in its prime, while you also watch J.R. Smith blow the NBA Finals. You scroll through social media and see some of the strangest things going viral, such as a guy squeezing lemons into his eyes, 11-year-old kids flexing sports cars and getting record deals yodeling in Walmart, and of course we can't forget people eating Tide Pods. It was definitely a very memorable time to be alive. However, looking back, 2018 was also filled with a lot of great music. 2018 saw hip-hop stand its ground as the #1 genre of music for the second year in a row, led by new faces like Juice WRLD, Lil Skies, and Lil Baby, in addition to these other young artists who blew up the year prior, now becoming stars. Along with a little help from nostalgia, in this video we'll see why many fans consider 2018 as the best year ever.
Already. New Patek on my wrist, yeah. White diamond, them shits in pink, yeah. Got
For the Philadelphia Eagles, the long drought is over. In college basketball, UMBC makes history.
Laurel.
It's crazy to think that 2018 was 5 years ago. Simply put, 2018 was an iconic year for hip-hop. From some of the biggest mainstream names dropping fire projects like Travis Scott's Astroworld, Lil Wayne's long-awaited Carter 5 we never thought we'd hear, J. Cole, Drake, Post Malone, A$AP Rocky, and Kanye West's run of 7-track EPs including Kids See Ghosts, to then all of the new up-and-coming artists we saw burst onto the scene. And although 2016 and 2017 were great years too and first introduced us to some of these new wave artists, many fans will tell you though that 2018 was the golden age of the SoundCloud era. New artists were blowing up seemingly every week and bringing a fresh sound and style, pushing the genre to record heights of attention and interest. However, as we'll see in a second, it was also the final prime year of SoundCloud as the platform's downfall began shortly after. It's impossible to mention SoundCloud or even just music in 2018 without bringing up arguably the hottest artist of the year, 19-year-old Chicago rapper Juice WRLD. What Juice WRLD was able to accomplish in a matter of months in 2018 may honestly never be seen again. Joining XXXTentacion and Lil Peep as pioneers of the emerging emo rap subgenre, not only did Juice WRLD's infectious melodies and crazy freestyling ability make him one of the most talented artists we've ever seen, but back in 2018 it started to feel like almost every SoundCloud rapper was influenced by Juice's sound.
People love to hear something that came out that was good, that's natural, that doesn't sound forced, it sounds authentic. People love that.
And although both Nick Mira produced tracks All Girls Are the Same and Lucid Dreams were posted on SoundCloud the year prior, it wasn't until after re-releasing them as official singles under Interscope in 2018 that they exploded into the mainstream. With the help of 2 legendary Cole Bennett music videos, there was simply no escaping these songs in 2018. Closing in on now 1 billion views on YouTube alone, by far the most viewed Lyrical Lemonade video to date, Lucid Dreams would not only go on to peak at number 2 on the Billboard Hot 100 and become the 4th most streamed song in SoundCloud history, but also stay Juice WRLD's biggest hit of his career, now certified 11 times platinum.
It's funny because I wrote that song in like 15 minutes. I didn't think that was gonna be it was just another song. Obviously I liked it enough to put it on the project, but I didn't think that was gonna be the smash.
After releasing his debut album and one of my favorite projects of the year in May, and then securing a collab tape with his idol Future a few months later, Juice WRLD had already cemented himself a star before the age of 20. But another young artist who blew up in that same auto-tune melodic lane was Lil Skies, who I don't think I'm alone when saying this guy dominated my playlist in 2018. As the textbook example of what people think of when they hear SoundCloud rapper, covered in tattoos head to toe, Lil Skies was quickly building himself a loyal fanbase. Following the release of his first major label mixtape, Life of a Dark Rose, in early 2018, including the hit songs Red Roses, Nowadays, and Lust, accompanied by his first ever sold-out tour, it wasn't long before Lil Skies was one of the most buzzed about upcoming artists, again growing primarily through SoundCloud, as well as through the Cuff Boys YouTube channel.
Hey Skies, what's your SoundCloud? Lil Skies on SoundCloud? Lil Skies.
I remember that SoundCloud, I uploaded my own songs, like, for years. That's how I did it. Even Red Roses, I uploaded that shit myself.
It's no coincidence that every one of Lil Skies' biggest hits also came with a Lyrical Lemonade video. At one point in 2018, it almost felt like a Cole Bennett music video was a necessary step for an upcoming artist and could instantly jumpstart a career, similar to how a No Jumper and Adam 22 interview felt like too at the time. Lil Skies, Juice WRLD, Comethazine, Blueface, YBN Namir, Corday, Young Bands, and Lil Mosey are just a few of the many artists that significantly benefited from working with Cole in 2018. Making a name with his creative edits and unique visuals, Lyrical Lemonade was bringing even more more new attention to the SoundCloud scene.
I still don't think I've fully processed, the Juice thing, him becoming that type of superstar and those type of numbers and everything and how it all started. It still hasn't hit me.
Nostalgia aside, it truly was a fun time to be a fan of hip-hop. However, like every year, despite all the highs that came in 2018, also came the lows. I believe we all remember where we were when we heard the unfortunate news on the afternoon of June 18th, 2018.
I think X got shot.
You said what?
X got shot, bro. I think X got shot. Like, for real, I think X got shot, bro.
Nah.
The information, what I just heard, was that he's passed.
Ski Master Slump God's best friend, XXXTentacion, was shot and killed while leaving a motorcycle shop in South Florida. As only a 20-year-old kid, the influence that X was able to have in such short amount of time was insane. And although 2017 was when he first started to blow up, just 3 months prior to his murder, X had dropped his Question Mark album in March, going on to debut at number 1. R.I.P. X, Juice WRLD tweeted after hearing what had happened. Musically, I really looked up to you. Juice was in the studio the night of X's passing, and the very next day he would drop 2 new singles on SoundCloud, with Legend serving as a tribute to X and Lil Peep. Meanwhile, XXXTentacion continued to break records even after he was gone, as Sad would top the Billboard charts that next week, making X the first rapper to posthumously go number 1 since Biggie Smalls in '97. However, X wasn't the only artist we'd see release their final album in 2018, as only a few months later in September we'd receive some more terrible news.
Rapper Mac Miller has reportedly died of an overdose. TMZ is reporting that Miller was found dead on Friday at his home in California's San Fernando Valley.
These were 2 big losses to both the hip-hop community and the music industry as a whole, especially since X was now a leading face of this new movement, basically the poster child for SoundCloud Rap. But elsewhere in 2018, on the more street side of the genre, was another rising artist whose run was about as impressive as they come. Entering the year hot off his first hit, My Dog, it was Lil Baby's consistency in 2018 though that left no doubt he was here to stay. His debut album in May boosted him into the spotlight even more thanks to a Drake feature on Yes Indeed. And if you still hadn't heard of Lil Baby, I'm sure you definitely did after his collab project that fall with Gunna, another Atlanta rapper who was having a breakout year, and together the project's Grammy-nominated single Drip Too Hard would not only become one of the biggest songs of 2018, but is now literally certified diamond in the US.
You say Gunna's your closest friend in the industry?
Yeah. Definitely. I like consider Gunna like we ain't friends, you know what I'm saying? Like we like more than friends, so it's like on a different level.
Along with one more Lil Baby mixtape to close out the year, we also have to mention NBA Youngboy, who was on a run of his own, and as always was feeding his fans very well. In 2018, we also saw Drake land the biggest hit of his career, leading everyone to sing about how much they love their beds. In addition to settling his longtime beef with Meek Mill and then playing Fortnite with Ninja, 18-year-old Sheck West secured maybe the hottest song of the year before basically disappearing forever. Childish Gambino returned with his polarizing new single and music video, This Is America. Rich the Kid delivered Plug Walk and what I thought was a really good debut album. Kanye West linked up with Lil Pump for the year's most unexpected collab. Producers such as Pierre Bourne, Nick Mira, Murder Beats, and Metro Boomin were killing it on the production side of things. Jay-Z and Beyonce raked in a cool $250 million on their joint tour together, and Travis Scott rode a roller coaster through his first headlining arena tour, while smaller shows like Playboi Carti's Neon Tour were just as hype, arguably even more hype as these future stars had small venues packed to the brim across the country. As the identity and sound of hip-hop was changing, so is the way we as listeners consumed it. Streaming platforms like Apple Music and Spotify continued to see huge increases while individual track sales on iTunes dropped a total of 28%. The streaming era had officially taken over. However, after losing XXXTentacion and then Juice WRLD a year later, it honestly felt like SoundCloud died when Juice did. Yeah, there were still artists who found success on the platform, but it just never felt the same as it had between 2016 to 2018. And as we can see here, overall interest in SoundCloud Rap began its decline the following year. That following year, 2019, saw Lil Nas X show the world how to go number 1 through social media, soon starting the trend of TikTok hits. And then, of course, we all know what 2020 had in store. When the SoundCloud scene was at its height, there were unsigned underground artists doing more numbers than mainstream acts. No label push, just a loyal audience, says Cole Bennett. It was an era. Then the labels caught on and nothing has been the same since. Everything feels so artificial now. While there's no doubt that nostalgia definitely plays a big factor when we look back on these years, there's also no doubt that the artists of 2018 revolutionized hip-hop forever, carrying the genre to new heights with their distorted bass and auto-tune melodies. Although we're told not to look back in the past, 2018 will always be a very special time to remember.